What's good, y'all? Dr.Trehunna. Now I'm feeling good today. So today I'm actually going to go ahead and give y'all a full breakdown on how carbohydrates operate in the human body, okay? Now this video is only going to be up for free for the next 2 weeks. After December 25th, best believe this video is going to be taken down and it's going to be only available to the paying people that's on the e-courses, okay? So with that being said, please utilize this video as soon as possible, okay? And disperse it to whoever needs to hear this information because this video would not be available in 2 weeks, okay? Now, today, what we're gonna talk about is how carbs operate in the human body, okay? And after this video, you should never be afraid of carbs ever again, okay? And you should understand exactly how carbs work. Okay, so people are only afraid of things that they don't understand. After this video, you should be good to go for the rest of your entire natural life. I'm gonna give you all the full breakdown, the full game. Cool? Now, with that being said, because we live in a civilization of that demonizes carbs, now everybody thinks, oh, well, if you want to lose weight, you gotta be on a low carb diet, or if you want to basically live healthy, oh, you just can't have any carbs, okay? That is really not the case. What y'all gonna learn on this video is it's not about the carb itself, it's about the quality of the carbs, okay? You can have carbs. Carbs is not that bad for you as long as you're getting the better version of carbs. It's just the carbs that you like to pick up and the food that you pick up on a daily basis, such as processed carbs, okay? And today we're gonna learn exactly why processed or refined carbs is not the greatest thing for you, all right? So with that being said, how carbs operate in the human body. When you give the human body carbs break down to glucose, okay? So literally carbs and sugar is the exact same thing. Table sugar that you usually pick up from the store, that is a sucrose molecule, which means it got half glucose, half fructose, okay? Regular carbs itself, when it breaks down, such as bread, such as cereal, such as rice, such as potatoes, starchy carbs, it's going to break down to a glucose molecule, okay? Now, when glucose is in your system, the human body is not made to have a whole lot of glucose or sugar in its system. So it got a hormone in the human body called insulin, okay? Now, when insulin is secreted, what insulin does, it literally tells your body in real time, hey, I want you to store this glucose that is flowing around in the bloodstream. Why? Because too much sugar in the bloodstream can start corroding it, literally, okay? From the inside out, okay? So sugar is literally toxic to the human body, but insulin helps the human body control it by shuttling this form of energy into the cells, all right? Now, with that being said, your body can do two things when there's a whole lot of sugar in the system, okay? It can store it as glycogen, which is the stored version of glucose, okay? And glycogen be stored into your muscles, into your liver, into your adipose tissue, etc., okay? But then if there's an excess amount of carbohydrates in the body, what your body's gonna do once everything is full, just like a cup. After a cup is full to the brim, right? You're unable to put more water in it. So what the human body does is say, okay, cool, we need another cup. And basically these new cups are new fat cells, okay? So when you give your body too much amount of carbs, your body's gonna create more fat cells to store the glucose, okay? So keep that in mind. The only way this is happening is if you spike insulin, and the only way you're spiking insulin is if you give your body carbohydrates, okay? So de novo lipogenesis is literally the act of when your body is creating new fat cells, okay? And this all starts in the liver because the liver has to basically process the carbs that you're providing it, okay? Now, are all carbs bad for you? Or just basically, are carbs bad for you? No, carbs have a purpose, okay? If you're somebody who's trying to lose weight, right? What you want to do is to have a little bit less carbs, okay? If you want to lose weight, then you need to focus on having more protein. Why? Protein keeps you the most satiated, which means what? You're gonna be the most full after eating protein, right? And protein is the thing that's literally signaling to your body, hey, I want you to lose fat, retain muscle. Make sense? So if you're somebody who's trying to gain weight, then I would advise you to have more carbs. Why? The more carbs you give to your human body, the more insulin is getting spiked. The more insulin is getting spiked, the less chances your body has to break down fat, which means what? It means for you to lose weight. Okay? So ironically, bodybuilders like to have carbs in their diet. Why? Because bodybuilders don't care about the number on the scale. They care about what type of weight they're building up, which is predominantly muscle. Okay? So that's why if you look at a typical bodybuilder diet, they have chicken, they have broccoli, they have rice. Rice is a starchy carb. So anything that's a starchy carb, that means it has a lot of glucose in it, okay? But because it got a lot of glucose in it, now they're telling their body based off this plate, hey, I want you to store these amino acids, which is broke down into a protein form. But basically it's protein. Amino acids is protein. And protein literally allows your body to build more muscle. So if I have a plate of chicken, broccoli, and rice, I'm telling my body in real time, I want you to build yourself up bigger and stronger. That's why you don't see fat bodybuilders, okay? Now, if you're somebody that's saying, yo, I'm trying to see the scale drop, right? What you're going to do is you want to have less carbs because you want to signal to your body to store less and to utilize the energy that you already have, okay? So body fat is literally not there for aesthetics. Body fat is literally there to let you know, hey, if you ever have to go a couple of days without food, we're good, okay? Now, keep in mind, the reason why we even have body fat is because this is the only time in human civilization where we had access to food all around the clock. We don't have to literally kill an animal, right? We don't have to wait 3 or 4 hours to cook the animal. We could literally say, oh, I want a burger today, I'm gonna get a burger. Oh, I want some pasta today, I'm gonna get a pasta. And we're literally getting it in real time. Everything's expedited, okay? But the human body, based off our ancestors, is made to have famine, right? Which means you're going hours or days or sometimes weeks without food and to be in a fed state, such as if I kill a lion, right? That means I should have food for a week, right? But after I kill the lion, I have to literally go ahead and find another lion. That might take a couple of days. I gotta go forage for food. That's gonna take a couple of days. So the human body is supposed to be in a feast, right, and famine state, okay? But ironically, fast forward to the 21st century, we're never fasting. We're always eating, okay? The average person nowadays eats 14 to 16 hours out the day, which means what? If the average person eats 14 to 16 hours out the day, and there's only 24 hours in a day, you're telling your body more times to store than utilize the energy that's on it or digest. Make sense? So if you are somebody who's trying to gain weight, like a bodybuilder, then you're supposed to eat 3 to 5 times a day, right? Why? The whole purpose of bodybuilders doing that is because they're trying to activate protein synthesis more, so they're giving their body more chances because of insulin, because of the carbs, to gain weight. That's why you hear, oh, you're supposed to eat 3 to 5 times a day. But those are for bodybuilders. Now, if you're somebody who has weight problems and you don't really like the look or your body composition, then the goal for you is to eat less so you can tell your body less times to store, right? And you're forcing your body, you're putting your body in a position to literally use the nutrients that it already has in storage, such as body fat. Once again, body fat's not there for aesthetics, okay? So the whole purpose of eating is to literally help your body store nutrients. That's the whole purpose of eating. It's not there for fun, okay? The whole purpose of eating is to help your body store, okay? If you're somebody who needs to see the scale drop, you need to eat less, because the more times you eat, the more times you're inhibiting your body from utilizing body fat. That's the whole purpose of eating, okay? So with that being said, why are carbs demonized? The reason why carbs are demonized nowadays is because as Americans, especially in American society, 9 times out of 10, the foods that we like are carb-based, which is not the issue, okay? Because vegetables are carbs, if you didn't know that. Fruit are carbs, if you didn't know that, okay? Everybody knows the bad carbs, like apples or breads and stuff like that, okay? It's the convenient type of carbs that we like to consume every single day that is the problem. Why is that the problem? So the difference between a vegetable and the difference between a fruit, such as an apple, right? Vegetables have fiber in it. okay? Fibers are considered a type of carb, okay? There's two types of fibers. There's insoluble fiber and there's soluble fiber. But ironically, when you give your body fiber, your body literally is unable to process this and digest it. So because it's unable to digest it, your body's not consuming or receiving calories from it, okay? And the greatest thing about this is it literally slows down how much sugar will be in your bloodstream at a time, okay? Now, today or nowadays, the average person is not eating a whole lot of vegetables, okay? The average person is only eating probably 3 types of vegetables. They're only eating some green beans. They're probably eating some broccoli. They're probably gonna have some spinach here and there. You know what I'm saying? The average person nowadays eat a whole lot of processed, refined carbs, such as bread, such as rice, such as cereal, such as juice. These are the worst type of carbs because these carbs have no fiber to it. And believe it or not, if you would have, went back in time 60 years ago, you would never have access to these carbs, period. This is a new invention, okay? So what they do nowadays is in order for, food to taste better, they put a lot of preservatives in it. They put a lot of emulsifiers in it. They put a lot of food color in it. And that's why you can have something such as, Cocoa Puffs, and you don't have to touch it for 2 to 3 months, and it's still good. You can still eat it anytime you want. Now, I would love to see you do that with some spinach. The spinach is gonna go bad in what? A week and a half, 2 weeks. So there's a reason for that because this is not real food. This is something that somebody had to create in the lab, and these people are not caring about your health, okay? They're caring about the buck. Make sure they sell a product. So they're gonna put the things in it that's gonna make it last as long as possible, such as hydrogenated oils, okay? And they're gonna put in a lot of food colorants and a lot of sugar, okay? Now, just so you have an idea, the human body is not supposed to have more than 10 grams of sugar a day, okay? But nowadays, because sugar is so ubiquitous in American society, now they're telling people, hey, you should shoot for less than 25 grams of sugar a day, okay? And once again, the reason being is because the more sugar you have in your body, everything as far as the incidences of you getting any type of disease is gonna go up, chronic diseases, okay? And I'm talking about cancer, okay? Because cancer cells only thrive off glucose. They cannot use any other source of energy, okay? I'm talking about heart disease. Believe it or not, if your blood pressure is high, it's not because of sodium, okay? It's because of sugar, okay? Because sugar tells your kidneys to secrete something called aldosterone, and basically that tells your kidneys or signals to your body to hold on to more water and more salt, which is going to make your body hold on to more water, which means what? Now your arterioles or your arteries or your endothelial cells is basically getting expanded, right? And it's basically making your blood pressure high. Long story short, there's too much water in the bloodstream, okay? Now, also, the more sugar you have in a day, right, the more you can expect for your every single disease to basically start to come about, okay? Diabetes, cancer, heart disease, everything, Alzheimer's, etc. All of these things are sugar-based, long story short. And because none of the foods that we like have fiber in it, it's not gonna go ahead and slow down the absorption, and your body's not accustomed to these type of foods, all right? So what you want to do, if you're somebody who wants to have a whole lot of carbs, right? Or have carbs in a diet, you just gotta get better version of carbs, okay? And today, what we're gonna talk about is how you can get the better version of carbs, okay? And what you need to look out for, all right? So, on my Reset program, I tell all my clients to make sure you read the label. Why do you read the label? Because the average person, when they go into the store, they're not caring for the most healthiest thing. They're caring about the cheapest thing, all right? But ironically, if you're getting the cheapest thing, you think it's gonna be the best thing for you? No. Just like Toyotas, right? Toyotas is a vehicle. It gets you from point A to point B, right? Lexus is a vehicle. Cool. It gets you from point A to point B, right? Ironically, these two companies are made by the same car manufacturer. But which one is a better quality brand per se? It's gonna be Lexus, okay? So the same thing applies. You can literally have some bread, right? But one bread is going to tell your body a totally different signal than the other source of bread. You just got to be able to differentiate between the two. How are you going to be able to differentiate between the two? By reading a label. They cannot lie on the back of the label. They can say whatever they want on the front of the label. It's about, are you aware, right? Or are you ignorant enough to not be able to decipher or see, hey, this might be BS, okay? So, for instance, a carb that a lot of people like to have, we heard all our life that pasta is what? Is pasta healthy? No, pasta is fattening. Okay, why is pasta fattening? So the reason why pasta is fattening is because if you actually look at the label, it's gonna tell you literally why pasta is fattening. All right. So here's the main things I want you to pay attention to when you're looking at a label. All right. So what you should see here is calories. All right. But what I be telling my clients, not to read the calories. We do not care about calories. Okay. We care about what the calories consist of. All right. So it says 190 calories, but we want to see what makes up the 190 calories. All right. The serving size. You always want to read the serving size, no matter what. Okay. Because the serving size will tell it all. Okay. It got 1 gram of fat. All right. It got 38 grams of carbs. It got 5 grams of fiber. Okay. You don't care about soluble fiber, insoluble fiber. That the total makeup will be in the dietary fiber category. Okay. So it got 5 grams of fiber. It got 10 grams of protein. 2 grams of sugar. All right. So the main things that I want you to pay attention to is serving size, fat, carbs, fiber, sugar, protein. Always remember that. Okay. Serving size, carbs, fats, protein, fiber, sugar. Just to mix it up for y'all. Remember that. All right. Now, this box right here says what? Protein. So ironically, a lot of people, when they're out shopping, the reason why they put protein on this box is because they know that the average person thinks, oh, protein, I heard that this is good for me. I need to have it. So I see this box and it say protein plus. That means it gotta have a lot of protein in it. Therefore, I should be good and I'm not gonna get fat eating this one because it got protein in it, right? No. Why? Because you didn't read the label. This is a marketing ploy to let you know why this is somewhat better than the other BS Barilla boxes in there, which is usually the blue box, okay? So if you actually read this label, it says they got 1 gram of fat, 38 grams of carbs, 10 grams of protein, okay? 1 gram of fat, 38 grams of carbs, 10 grams of protein. So based off what I'm telling you, this is a carb-based product. It got some protein in it, but the protein is 1/3 of the carbs, okay? So I'm telling my body to store, okay? Now, here's the funny thing. When people are consuming, because people don't read the serving size, they don't understand that they got 7 servings per container. Now, how many people have you ever seen pick up a box like this and use 1/7 of a box? It never happens. You're picking up the entire box and you're going to go ahead and use it into, you're going to put the whole thing into a pot. Okay. So that means whatever you see right here, I want you to multiply it by 7. So that means 190 times 7 as far as the calories, right? That means fat times 7, which is 1 gram times 7, which is 7 grams of fat. Okay. That's not that bad. But that means 38 carbs times 7. You see what I'm saying? And you get 70 grams of protein in this whole entire box, okay? But at the end of the day, this is a carb-based product. And just so you have a baseline number so you can understand it, after, let's say, about 250 to 300, first off, over 100 grams of carbs, especially if you're getting refined carbs like this, you're not really trying to lose weight. Just to be straight up honest with you, okay? Unless you're somebody who's a bodybuilder or you're somebody who's very active, okay? The more carbs you have, your body has to use its energy. But carbs are good for people who are more active, such as people that go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week, and bodybuilders, okay? So that's why even in the bodybuilder community, they have a saying called earn your carbs. Now, the funny thing is the average American don't earn shit. They're not earning their carbs, okay? We're eating carb-based, right? Which is why you see the average American have weight problems because you eat a whole lot of carbs, right? And not a lot of protein, okay? But a whole lot of fat too. And if you are on my program, you already know that the worst mixture ever is mixing carbs with fat, okay? Why? Just so you have an idea, okay? Think of carbs as a fuel for the human body, okay? Fat is a fuel for the human body. These two do not mix. It's like oil and vinegar. Your body can use one at a time, but these two do not mix at all, okay? Protein is not a fuel source for the body, and it takes your body a lot of energy to break down protein. So because it takes your body a lot of energy to break down protein, your body is not going to prefer to use that, okay? But dietary fat, when you give your body fat, such as olive oil or avocado oil or coconuts and stuff like that, or avocados, your body can store it real quick, like this, okay? Or it can use it real quick if it has to, okay? Carbs, because your body has insulin, it's able to use it real quick. It's able to break it down to glucose, sugar, right? And at the end of the day, some, metabolic processes or some organs need sugar at the end of the day. Like your brain cannot really run off fat, it's gonna run off glucose, okay? But your liver can do a process called gluconeogenesis, okay? Which basically is breaking down fat tissue, okay? And making it sugar again, or glucose for the brain, okay? But once again, our main issue is the carbs that we like are refined carbs. And because you're eating a lot of carb-based products, after your tanks are full, just like a cup, once this cup is full of carbs, and this is your cells, okay? It's gonna start spilling over, but the spillover, your body's gonna say, okay, cool, we just need more cups. So let's create more fat cells. That's when it starts to become an issue, all right? So carbs is not the devil, it's too many carbs, all right? And just to give you another analogy, let's say I got a speaker, right? If I turn the knob up on the speaker, what can I expect to happen? I can expect the volume to go up. The same thing applies with carbs. The more carbs you give to a human body, the more time you're telling your body, I want you to store the energy that I'm providing to you. Which means what? The more carbs you have in the day, the more you should expect the scale to go up. Why? Because that's what you're telling your body to do in real time, to store this energy. So best believe that's why you notice the days you have the cheat days, the days that you live your best life, had a couple drinks, had some popcorn, had some pasta, you seen the scale go about 3 or 4 pounds, and you're like, oh, what the hell was that? Why did that happen? Because you told your body to store. Now, all of that is not body fat, right? But it's a lot of water retention, a lot of things going on, okay? Which is why you seen the scale go up, all right? So if you want to lose weight, have a little bit less carbs, focus on better carbs if you decide to have them. If you're trying to gain weight, have carbs. Simple, all right? Now, once again, the main issue is the refined carbohydrates that we have. The carbs that you can literally pick up and they're good after a month, such as bread, okay? So, once again, if you know how to read a label or the things I want you to read for a label, you're gonna understand why this bread is not that great for you, okay? So if you look at this label, okay, it literally says it got 13 grams of carbs per slice, 0.5 grams of fat, okay, and 3 grams of protein. That's the main things I want you to focus on, okay? Carbs, fiber, sugar, protein, and fat, right? But the serving size is 1 slice of bread. How many times have you ever seen somebody eat 1 slice of bread? It never happens. You're gonna have 2 slices of bread, or if you used to be like me, I used to eat 2 sandwiches. So that means 13 times 4, okay? Which is 52, all right? So you can see it adds up that fast, all right? So what you wanna do is make sure you have some carbs that has more fiber to it. That way it slows down how much glucose is in the system at a time. Because the more glucose you have in the system, the more chances your body's gonna become insulin resistant, and that is the start to all chronic diseases, inflammation, diabetes, cancer, obesity, which is chronic inflammation, etc. All right? But we all heard, once again, that, oh, well, what about fruits, right? Fruits is carb, but fruits are healthy for you. This right here is okay to have here and there, okay? This is never something that you're never supposed to be having every single day, okay? Especially if you're trying to watch your weight. Why? This is the only time in human history where people had access to fruit all year round. Because fruit happens to be seasonal, which means what? After a certain season go by, best believe for 6 to 8 months, your ass is not gonna see that fruit. okay? But now, because they got packaging, right? And because they're hybridizing fruit, okay, they're getting the biggest with the biggest and the sweetest with the sweetest. That way, you go ahead and buy it more, right? Because it's sweet. You like the sweet taste. Now they got fruit all year round, okay? But once again, because we was taught that fruit and vegetables are healthy, which is once again a marketing employed by the government, now you believe that, oh, I can have fruit all year round instead of my vegetables, okay? So if you're somebody who's trying to have a lot of carbs in your diet, best believe your carbs should be from green, cruciferous, or leafy greens, okay? Vegetables, not apples, not pears, not grapes, nothing of that nature, okay? Why? So once again, I want y'all to read the label, okay? The label will never lie. They can do whatever they want right here. So you see right here, it says 80 calories, 15 grams of sugar per serving. You see that right there? Per serving, okay? The funny thing is, the average person is gonna pick this up and say, oh, if I eat this entire tray of Granny Smith sliced apples, I'm only eating 80 calories, 50 grams of sugar. That don't mean nothing. We're good, right? But once again, people don't know how to read the label, so they're not reading the back. So ironically, there's 3 servings in this container, but you're only reading that 80. So because you're only reading that 80 and we're living in a culture where you're eating a lot of snacks, you're gonna eat probably this whole entire container within a day or 2 days at least, right? So if you add everything up, it got 20 grams of carbs per serving, which means 20 times 3. It got 15 grams of sugar times 3, right? Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to eat the whole thing. So that means it's 45 grams of sugar, 20 grams of carbs. And once again, carbs and sugar is the exact same thing to the human body. Your body's not able to differentiate between both of those, okay? Because it's going to break, both of them are going to break down to glucose, all right? So what you really want to do is duck sugar, not carbs, sugar-based carbs such as fruit. There's a reason why you like fruit. It has a lot of sugar in it, okay? And in society, or back in the day, when our ancestors ate fruit or sugar, we knew that this was something that's not gonna come around a lot, okay? There's not an abundance of this thing because it only comes around here and there. So your body was able to process sugar here and there. Like, for instance, only during the summertime. It wasn't made to have it all year round, okay? So the more sugar you have, the more you can expect for the scale to go up, okay? Because what fructose does, it helps your body, or your liver is gonna process it and store it as fat, literally, okay? Because your liver is the only thing that can process fructose, okay? So the more fruit you have, the more belly fat you will have because your liver is right there. But people don't know that, okay? So if you are somebody who wants to have more carbs in your diet, you having this is totally different from you having this, right? Which is zucchini noodles. You having this is totally different from you having this, okay? Less of these, more real leafy greens, okay? Less processed, refined carbohydrates such as this, okay? More things that are real and it actually got a real expiration date, okay? That's gonna basically expire in the next week, max, okay? And you want to have less juice if you want to see the scale drop, okay? Why? So, once again, people usually read the label, and because they read the label, the food companies know that, hey, if I put protein on it, they're gonna think that this is healthy for you. So guess what? Now we got things like this. Protein plus, right? Mango, both farms, right? So now somebody's thinking, oh, well, I see vegetables, I see fruit, I got some carrots in it. I know carrots are healthy, that's what I learned, right? And once again, eating for health and eating for fat loss is not the same thing, okay? You gotta do either or, all right? But if you read the label, what does it say? It says 1 serving, which is good, okay? Which means what? If you drink the whole entire thing, it got 2.5 grams of fat. Is that bad? No, okay? Because what you don't want to mix, carbs with fat. Great job, right? It got 30 grams of protein. That's amazing. That is splendid, right? But it's also coming with 49 grams of sugar, okay? And 59 grams of carbs. So basically 59 plus 49 is what? That's 108 grams of sugar in this one thing. And like I told you earlier, you're not supposed to really have more. You're not supposed to go past 20 or 10, to be honest. But based off American civilization, they said, please don't go past 25. This got 108. Off a drink. And are you just having this drink by itself? No, you're having this with your meal. So as you can see, that's why I see the average person that walking around, they have weight problems. And that's because the average person walking around is starting their day with some Cocoa Puffs, with some whole milk, right? Or fat-free milk because they heard, oh, fat is bad for you. I don't want to get fat, so I'm going to duck fat, right? But fat-free milk, what they're going to do is they're going to overcompensate because they can't put fat in it. They're going to put more carbs in it. Okay? But then you're going to have a little snack or granola, right, for lunch, right? You might have a little yogurt to hold you over for lunch. But your yogurt is totally different from mine. You see how it says 2 grams right here, right? That means 2 grams of sugar. And my yogurt has less than 3 grams of carbs, right? And 12 grams of protein, which means this is a protein-based product. But if you go get some regular Chobani that you pick up from the store or Oikos, it's going to be a carb-based product, right? So you have your little yogurt with some granola, right? While you're drinking your real soda with your Chipotle, you know what I'm saying? And you have the beans, the rice, the bread, and your Chipotle. Then you having a little granola snack before you come home, right? Or a peanut butter jelly sandwich. And we all heard, oh, peanut butter is basically healthy for me, right? I don't know where everybody heard the same rhetoric at, but it's crazy. But if you actually look at peanut butter, it says it got 14 grams of fat, 11 grams of carbs, 8 grams of sugar, 7 grams of protein, which means what? Based off what I see, I'm telling my body to store fat. Why? It got 11 grams of carbs, which is higher than 7 grams of protein, and it got 14 grams of fat, which is higher than 7 grams of protein. And here's the kicker. It says for 2 tablespoons. How many people have you ever seen on earth use 2 tablespoons of peanut butter? Never. And some people like to have peanut butter with their apples, expecting a scale to drop because I'm eating healthy. Okay? So that's why eating for health, once again, eating for fat loss is 2 totally different things. Okay? Honestly, sugars or fruit within itself got some vitamins, in it that's going to allow your body to run optimally, but there's better options out there. Long story short, the best type of fruit is berries. If you're on my program, you already know that, okay? So there's context to everything. I don't want you to demonize all carbs. I want you to understand how to differentiate between the worst carbs to the better version of carbs. But at the end of the day, a carb is a carb, okay? Just like a car is a car. I can get a Rolls Royce, but a Toyota does the exact same thing as a Rolls Royce. It just looks better in it, okay? So that's how I want you to rationalize it, okay? You eating Cocoa Puffs, right? It's totally different from me eating my cereal called Nature's Path. I've never seen this a day in my life, but I can have it based off my nutrition facts because it got more protein in it than anything else. If you want to stay lean, you want to have a better body composition, best believe you better have a protein-based product, okay? So hopefully y'all learned something today. Once again, if you're somebody who wants to see the scale drop, have less carbs. And just remember the carb knob. The more carbs you have in a day, which is why I want you to read the label so you know how many carbs you're having in a day, the more you can expect the scale to go up. So what's a good number to go off, okay? So like, hey, Trey, I understand everything that you're saying, but give me a number, because I always got clients that say, just give me a number, okay? If you want to see the scale drop as much as possible, shoot for 50 grams of carbs. If I look at this, right, this got 1 serving in it, this whole entire thing, right, has 2 grams of net carbs. How do you find out 2 net carbs? It is literally carbs minus fiber, okay? So it got 5 grams of carbs right here, okay? It got 3 grams of fiber. So 5 minus 3 is what? 2. Which means what? I can eat this times 24 more of these. And that's 50 grams of carbs. But the funny thing is, I can eat 6 tablespoons of this, and that's the same amount of carbs. Or I could just drink 1 of this, and I already passed 50 grams of carbs. So as you can see, that's why I want you to focus on getting better version of carbs. Our carbs are not created equal, okay? So you can have anything that you can literally think about. You just gotta get the better version of it. I like, this got carbs in it, right? But this only got 7 grams of carbs in it. This got carbs in it, but it only got 2 grams of carbs in it. This got carbs in it, which is popcorn, but it only got 18 grams of carbs compared to the regular version of Orville Redenbacher, right? Which is why I said Smart Pop, that literally got 40 grams of carbs in it, okay? So the name of the game is the lower the carbs, the more you can see this scale to drop. So if you're somebody who's on a dramatic or really needs to see the scale drop, or is on a weight loss journey that you know you're gonna be on it for more than like 2 to 3 to 4 months, you wanna focus on 50 grams to 75 grams of carbs max a day, okay? If you're somebody who's living their best life, you're already metabolically healthy, such as me, you're not really caring about your body composition because you actually love how you look in the mirror, then you can have more carbs. You have more wiggle room than somebody who needs to see the scale drop more. So what I want you to do is get to your goal weight first. That way you can incorporate more of this if you want to, okay? Or more pancakes if you want to, or more real pasta if you want to. What a lot of people do is they try to eat as if they're at the goal weight, yet they hate how they look in the mirror. So get there. Just like you cannot apply to a bachelor's degree, a job that requires a bachelor's degree, if you didn't walk across the stage. You could be a junior, you're on the way to it, but you didn't graduate, so you can't apply. Same thing applies here. So once you walk across the stage, once you're happy with what you see in the mirror, you can start going and have your little apples with your peanut butter again. Or you can have your Cocoa Puffs, or you can have your pasta every Saturday and Sunday because you love how you look in the mirror. Just don't trick yourself, or just don't fool yourself, all right? Because you having on them carbs and you expecting the scale drop, it's not gonna happen because now you know that carbs tell your body to store. And if your body is storing, your body's not what? Burning. Hopefully y'all learned something today. That's your reset tip of the day. It's gonna help you stay snatched all the time. Not only summertime. If you have any questions about it, just shoot me a DM. I'm literally here for you. But once again, this video is only gonna be up for about 2 weeks, okay? So hopefully you go ahead and spread this to your family and friends that need it, okay? Stop eating so much carbs or processed, refined carbs that come in a box or that come in a bag. Make sure you're eating leafy greens or carbs that came from the earth, that literally sprouted out from the earth, okay? Talk to y'all soon.